There it is, folks. Lounge 240. It's the Patriots. It's the Eagles. Nathan Stacken is there. He's already down to the Vikings one. Marcus Raxer is there. He watched the game. And Charlie Hildebrand is here. And it should go off without a hitch. Marcus, why?
Why does this always happen? It doesn't seem to matter who, what, where, when, or why, but it has to happen. 38 unanswered points. Very uninspired effort by the defense. What a game. What a game for all the wrong reasons. Completely contrary to what we saw just 7 days ago.
Nathan Stacken, were you surprised?
No, I really wasn't. I will say the pick six completely changed momentum in this game. But the defense absolutely sucked. They were fucking awful. And I bear 90% of
the responsibility for that?
Of the responsibility. Well, no, I'm not. But I blame
Fire Stacken.
Make America great again, folks. By firing Stacken as Vikings #1 fan. Defense is almost entirely to blame for this one. 90%, if not more.
What the hell is behind you on that wall? It looks like a jellyfish.
It was the spot where Stacken was going to put the Lombardi Trophy after the Vikings.
Oh my!
But unfortunately,
it's a good fucking question. I'm not at home, so.
Well, how is that where are you? Or is this a kid's room? Is this an extra room?
This is like a dream catcher. Looks like
this is the lake.
Oh, you're at the lake, of course. Is the lake frozen? Freeze that lake?
It is. But didn't catch any fish today.
Oh, shit. Charlie, it's New England and Philadelphia. With Nick Foles as the quarterback. Is this on paper, the blast Super Bowl in your life? Is there one that you thought was not as exciting as this one?
I don't think it's the most blah in my life, but it's definitely the most blah in the last 5, 6, 7 years. I think the Giants-Ravens one, even before the game, was the one I was probably the least enthused when it started. This is not as bad as that one, but it's maybe in the same ballpark. Clearly, you guys wanted the Vikings to win. I also preferred that the Vikings would win just because even as poorly as they played today, I think they could have found a way to make it sort of a game with the Patriots. I don't see Nick Foles and the Eagles really big. Like, I don't know. I don't expect the Super Bowl to be remotely entertaining. And also, I am in the bag for always rooting against the Patriots regardless. And so, I don't know. I don't feel good about the prospects of them not winning.
Where would you then put just the Eagles as a team, as being a team that I am certainly just not interested in watching at all? They're pretty high on my list. Charlie?
What was the question again?
The Eagles, I don't know if the Eagles are like the worst team, or like the team that I just don't want in there just because there's nothing that interests me about them.
Of the 4 remaining teams in the title game, or the championship games, I would probably agree with that. At least with the Jaguars, there was sort of like they've never been there before. Yeah. I mean, I get the Eagles have never won a Super Bowl, but they've played in Super Bowls, and you know, the defense was good enough to do stuff. I would agree that I don't hate the Eagles, but I did not want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl this year when we got down to the final 4 teams.
Stack, and why was everybody picking the Vikings?
That's a good question. I don't know. Apparently teams that play indoors are 0-12 in the conference championship games since 1966, which basically means for fucking ever in the Super Bowl era.
When they're outside.
I'm sorry, playing outside in the conference championship games. So, I don't know. feeling going into this week. And, I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss of words as to why everyone was picking the Vikings.
Marcus, I mean, it was on the road. Their defense is very good, the Vikings. I just could not envision them winning this game. I could.
I think the big.
I mean, that first fucking drive. I mean, you're watching that, and you're like, holy fuck. How in the fuck do you have a drive like that? And what, 3 and out? First defensive series was great. And the rest of the game.
No, it was not. Torrey Smith.
Well, it was. They didn't score. It was one of the rare fucking drives they didn't score. And T. Sweet dropped a pass, and there were the dipshit that wasn't in bounds. He was wide the fuck open.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump when I catch a pass because that's gonna be a fucking good idea.
Like, I don't know. The first half of the first quarter was perfect, and then the rest of it may as well been January 14th, 2001 in New York.
Yeah, I don't get it. They needed the defense to play at the level they were at all year. They didn't. To me, that's a loss. It's as simple as that. I would say, I mean, the similarities to the game they played against the Giants, 2001, are very similar to me. You know, just the fact that the Vikings.
Not a great team.
No. The fact that their dominant element was the offense. Offense didn't play well, didn't show up, and they got blown out. And that's a big part of what happened today. I mean, I can't blame the 2 turnovers on Keenum in that first half. The blocking was pretty much it was really iffy all game, and the 2 times for sure that it wasn't good, they turned the ball over. And the Vikings, I don't think had given up a defensive touchdown all year. They gave one up for the Eagles' first score, and that, like Stacken said, I mean, I'm not a huge momentum guy, but I think it's clear to say that took some juice out of the Vikings right off the bat. And, just the Vikings getting beat on double moves and stuff. I mean, I realize I was particularly frustrated the fact that 40-year-old Terrence Newman has to cover Alshon Jeffrey.
Did Xavier Rhodes ever come back or not?
He came back.
The second half he came back?
Where the hell is Trey Waynes? Where the hell is Mackenzie Alexander? I realize they don't trust Alexander to begin with, but making it alive. And again, the pass rush mostly non-existent. That is really frustrating. Linebackers weren't making plays. Couldn't cover Ertz to save their life. And that was the guy I felt like they had to stop. They didn't stop him. And, I mean, Foles looked like an all-pro guy. I mean, I realize he made some plays that he had to make for them to be in that game. But what a terrible performance by that defense. And the offense, the further behind they fell, the less inspired they were. It just kind of snowballed, and that's rough.
That's exact terminology I would use as well, is snowballed. I'm not going to blame the offense, though, for the most part.
Well, they didn't.
Well,
they didn't do anything.
You're right. But
even if the defense pitches a shutout, they still lose the game.
Sure.
Because Keenum gave up the first touchdown, and the offense didn't.
But that's because he was hit, and so I'm going to again say that swung momentum completely in favor of the Eagles. Because if Keenum can step into that throw and make that throw, Thielen's open. He's got a first down, assuming he catches it, which we have no reason to think he wouldn't. And that's another first down. The Vikings are going to continue to chew up clock, move the ball down the field. The Eagles' defense was nothing special, really, in the first half, apart from
turnovers.
Well, apart from the turnovers, exactly. And neither of those, as Marcus said, were Keenum's fault. I mean, I don't know why you roll protection away from Case Keenum. Like, Riley Reif's at least got to get a chip on him, but I'm sure that was the play call all along, is to move everything to the right and have Morgan come over and
that's
block.
Just insane. That's just that was insane. That was.
But I don't think I'm not blaming Reif for that.
I think he executed it the way they executed the play the way it should be. But the idea that you're going to have David Morgan, the Vikings' third, fourth tight end, I don't know what he is, try to dive at a legitimate defensive end. That's stupid. Texas is back.
Great. Charlie?
I know that Traxler was talking about blocking Barnett, and I just want to say this was quite similar to Nebraska trying to block Derek Barnett, not this past season, but the year before. City Bowl, and things just going disastrously bad.
Same guy.
They're like, oh yeah, we can have a backup tight end do it. And it's like, nope, that's not going to work against this guy. He's too good for that.
Everything good?
No.
Why? Why?
It's back.
How about now? Is it good now?
Seems better.
Good.
No, still sucks.
What echoes? You or me?
Everybody.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Everything sound good, Marcus, Nathan? No? Better?
Yep.
Charlie, who's the Vikings quarterback week 1? Starting quarterback.
That's a good question. There's not a lot of bright sides to take from this loss for Minnesota. One is you don't have to worry about Case Keenum being the starter anymore next year. I think they're going to go in a different direction.
I would be in agreement with Mr. Hildebrand as Mr. Stacken just looks in bewilderment as he's ready to go all in on Case Keenum.
No, I want this guy as the starting quarterback.
That would be nice. Another 40-year-old fucker with the thing on his face.
Until he resigns with New Orleans, I'm not going to. It's a 0.5% chance in my.
I think Teddy Bridgewater starting week 1. What say you?
If Teddy Bridgewater starts week 1, they are not making the playoffs next year.
Marcus, how much did Keenum fuck himself here tonight? Whether it's with the Vikings or somebody else, because I can't imagine anybody's going to give him 5 years and $75 million or anything. I mean, he's a backup quarterback.
I think he can come back to the Vikings under the right price, but the idea of a $15 million contract, $20 million contract, I just have a hard time believing that. If somebody else wants to pay him, I like Keenum. Again, I didn't think he was a problem tonight. He missed throws, no doubt about it. And he was part of the reason they lost, but I wouldn't say he was, the reason by any means. The defense was the reason they lost. I'd be fine with threes. I think if you're going to pay $20 million to a quarterback, let's just pay $20 million to Kirk Cousins and let's get on with it, because that's where or if we're gonna draft a quarterback, that's fine too. But they're picking 30th. I can't see that going well. So you're just kind of in the same spot you were in with Bridgewater. So I think Bridgewater will be back. It's hard to say on Keenum. I think the other two will. I think Bradford's done. So I think it's a matter of whether or not Keenum, what kind of price they can get for Keenum. And I don't know about Bradford. I mean, I would think he'll be back just based on the limited amount of time he played, but hard to say.
The bright side is we can do what I know Stacken wants done the most.
Oh.
I'm glad you're sitting down, Stacken. The Vikings can trade up to the middle of the first round and draft Josh Allen out of Wyoming and have him be their starter.
Oh, my God.
That's assuming he doesn't get taken number 1 overall by Cleveland.
Yeah,
I feel confident in saying that Josh Allen's not going to go number 1. That will be my lone NFL draft prediction for the next 2 months, is that Josh Allen's not going to go number 1.
Yeah, he would be a guy that I would not like. You got little Baker Mayfield on there, Alex Smith on there. Do you think Case Keenum's coming back?
Who knows? Maybe Ryan Tannehill?
Oh, fuck me.
No.
Fuck me.
You don't want your Miami Dolphins scraps.
Jay Cutler or anybody for a Cutler?
I'd take Cutler over Tannehill.
I don't know about that. Do you think Keenum
Tony
is...
Romo?
Yes. Do you think Keenum is back?
Who are you talking to?
Stack. How much did tonight end any hope of him being worth anything?
I think people are going to look at this, unfortunately, and say that I mean, he's not a quarterback that can lead the team, above and beyond. But I said the whole entire game, and I agree with Marcus, he's not the reason why they lost tonight. So you have to look at everything.
A little bit of the reason.
Huh?
Well,
I mean, he's
a little bit of the
He's a little bit.
he's number two.
I'm not saying it's mostly his fault or all his fault, but you can't completely take all the blame away from him. It's not like he played great and he had a pick six.
You cannot turn the ball over. He has one fucking job. Do not turn it over. He did it against the Saints to put them back in that game. He did it. I mean, I guess he was hit. It didn't look like he got his arm. Maybe his shoulder.
I mean, other arm though.
But fuck, still, that was just a poor throw. The fumble. I mean, the fumble took a field goal off the board again, like it took a field goal off the board last week.
Derek Morgan's and the.
You just got to get it out. You just got to get it out.
Or Shermer's.
You can't
offense.
take a sack. You cannot put the ball on the ground. What do you have? Another interception there late or something? What do you have? Three turnovers. It's not.
5.
It's not
that
good.
one team should have had, or it was just tipped and it was caught by the other Eagle. I give him 5% of the blame here.
I probably give him 30.
I want to see him back if the Vikings can't get one of these other.
You gotta get somebody better. I mean, he just.
But okay.
He's not good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Who are you going to get? Like, realistically.
Like, any of those guys you mentioned are better than him. Baker Mayfield, not Josh Allen. Tannehill, Alex Smith is better. I want Lamar Jackson or Mason Rudolph. If either one of those gentlemen are still there late in the first, I would take both of those guys.
I think Rudolph will.
Then I would take him, and he would be my guy. I would sign Bridgewater, have him be the guy, have Rudolph be the guy waiting around in case he's not ready.
And he's not a quarterback, but it's also worth mentioning that Dalvin Cook should be back for the Vikings next year to at least add to their offense's capabilities.
What the fuck happened to this defense? I mean, what was it? 30 seconds to go, and they've got the ball at the 25, and they run right down their fucking throats at the end of the half for a field goal.
That was the killer.
I mean, after that, I packed my bags and said, see ya, I'm done.
I would also like to say, I think, in retrospect, the Vikings gave up on the run game way too fast. The way they ran that ball on the first drive was good, and I don't know. I just felt like they gave up on that too soon.
Well,
it felt like a lot of time was running off in the first half. It felt like it was going quickly. So maybe they just felt like they had to, try to get down the field quick. I don't know, but it was just kind of weird that they kind of gave up on. I felt like they gave up on the run.
I thought, 14-7, they're driving down, then he fumbles the ball. That was it right there. 14-7, you get a field goal, it's 14-10 with about, 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes. You make a stop. All right, 14-10, first half could have been a lot worse. But then after that, it was boat race time. So there we go. Another year ends like it does. Other game was better.
Perhaps the saddest episode of the Sports Lounge ever.
If we would have had
this is the first time we've had a Sports Lounge with the Vikings in the NFC title game.
If we would have had this in 2009, that would have been sadder. But
that would have been bad.
True.
I mean, they just played their worst game of the year at the worst possible time. It's that simple. I refuse to believe that the Eagles are that much better. Just the same as I would refuse to believe that the Giants were that better than the Vikings in 2000 either. But it's just like they picked the worst time to play like this, and I don't know if you overreact because I think with the thing with Keenum, I get what you're saying.
Like they should have lost. He did not play. He played fine last week. He led 2 drives at the end for 10 points. You take away the 60-yard pass. He has no touchdowns. He has 1 interception. He threw for 250.
But you don't.
He had he had a Blake Bortles game.
No, you don't take away the last pass.
What the hell? What are you doing?
You don't would take away the last pass because it was.
Well, I know.
No matter
I
what.
mean,
even if he gets out of bounds right there and it's not a touchdown.
sure, he's got
that's still something to feel about.
275. Yeah.
What
He
I
did
would say
fine.
is that
He
he
did
played really
fine.
well for a lot of time this year.
He did.
With Bridgewater, Bradford, whoever breathing down his back. To me, there's something to be said for that. I still don't know if he's the quarterback, and I think it's a very weird position for the Vikings to be going into 2018. That any one of four quarterbacks.
And it's the position they've always been in. They never have a guy for more than a year or two. If they got somebody they think's going to be something, he's going to get hurt. It's just an old quarterback that maybe has one more year left in him. Some retread like Sage Rosenfeld or some random fucking dude.
Todd Bauman.
Kelly Holcomb, some Gus Frerotte, who does fucking fantastic. I mean, they all come in, they all play great, they all go somewhere else, and they just search for another guy. It's same year, same old shit. So
my thing is that does anybody look at this year, and compare it to 2009, where you feel like next season is the year they got to get something done?
I don't think they're making the playoffs next year. I just don't.
I totally agree with that, Travis. Totally agree.
I feel like Minnesota's window is a little bit wider this time around, but it's hard to know how good that team's going to be next year. I would assume Rodgers will be good.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what. Just like I didn't really know this year what the ceiling was. I thought this was an 8-win team. It's hard to really know where they're going, and that's a weird position to be in, especially after an NFC Championship game in which they were favored, rightfully so.
Two things, maybe three. First off, the ceiling is the roof, so that's what we have to remember. Second off, I do agree that I think that the window is wider because of all the young players that they have, but they are on the biggest question mark is the most important position, which is quarterback. So I think once they find that quarterback, or once they make that selection as to who the quarterback's going to be going into 2018, that will give me a better idea as to what this Vikings team will be. It sounds like the Packers are going to be aggressive in free agency. They're going to revamp. They're going to reload. I'm huge on the San Francisco 49ers next year with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the Rams are still a good team. Eagles, Giants, and then that NFC South. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Vikings to make it back to the playoffs.
I don't know if the Giants would be on my list for next year either. But
a lot of injuries this year. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
In regards to the Vikings in the playoffs, I don't know if I'm quite as negative as some of you guys are. I'm not saying they are going to make it. I don't think they're going to be a top 2 seed getting a first-round bye. I think they are going to be one of the 12 or 13 teams, though. Depending on how breaks go, they could go anywhere between 5-11, 6-10, and 12-4. I think that they're going to be one of those teams, and it just depends on if they get good bounces during the season or not. Assuming they can keep most of their core players, they don't have weird injury problems or anything like that.
Like outside of Bradford and the running back, they didn't have any injuries, so that's probably not going to happen next year. They had the best defense, so then keep that up. They got a pretty good chance next year. Yeah, Rodgers got hurt. Wentz got hurt. A lot of things went their way. Why are you down on Ted? Hello, pup. Hello, pup.
He slept through the game.
Do you think he cannot come back from the injury? He just won't be good.
Teddy?
Yeah. If he is as good as he was before he got hurt, I think they can make the playoffs. He needs to be better than that. He needs to be better than that, obviously, going forward. But
Texas is back.
Why in the fuck?
No, wait. Never mind.
Okay.
Also, that was my fault. I was screwing around with my phone, and I put it on speakerphone, and then was like, oh, wait, I can't do that, because now everyone will hear it twice then.
Okay. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Do I got to get my Sharpie out and RACIST?
RELAX, relax?
Something like that, no. Racist, Acting, you're racist. Bridge, what do you expect from Ted?
Wait, yeah, no, thank you. I think, like Mike Zimmer's eye, he's going to have a blind allegiance towards Teddy Bridgewater and he's going to say, I got to be all in with Teddy. And I can't trust Teddy over Case Keenum. I can't. I until Teddy proves me wrong, I got to go with Case over Teddy. And I'm done with Grandpa Bradford and his arthritis-like knees. So that's really all I got to say. I'm riding with Case the rest of the way.
Can I go Twitter Blake Bortles facts on Stacking right now?
Oh no!
You know what the difference, Stacking, between Case Keenum and Teddy Bridgewater is?
Tell me.
Teddy Bridgewater's never lost a conference championship game by 31 points before.
God damn it! You're right. You're so right. You're so right.
Other game was.
That guy, by the way. Did you see the Blake Bortles facts guy? He lives in New York.
Shit.
Good.
He was a guy. He was a
Do
guy.
we need to start Teddy Bridgewater facts with Twitter?
I think Case Keenum facts. Case Keenum facts.
But you do all the negative stats.
Well, do better. Blake Bortles, 23 of 36 for 293. He was sacked 3 times. He fumbled once. No interceptions. 1 touchdown. I believe he damn near equaled his output in yards through the first 2 games in this game right here. Played well. Brady played a little better. Jacksonville had him on the ropes, but Brady did it again. Marcus, this is 12 conference title games. What is he, 8-4 in these games?
Yep.
I mentioned like this week sometime. Dewey, him and Manning was a race, and now if he wins number 6, R.I.P. that discussion. Where does he go then? We talk about LeBron and Michael Jordan. We talk about this all the goddamn time. What does he have to do to get in that Michael Jordan deal of maybe if he wins like 7 Super Bowls, he's just the greatest ever of anything. He's very good chance he's going to win Super Bowl number 6 in 2 weeks.
I would say, as it pertains to football, when he wins in 2 weeks his 6th Super Bowl championship, that will make him the greatest football player
ever
of all time. I mean, what else is there to prove? I don't think he can touch Michael Jordan. I mean, I don't think he could win 10 Super Bowls, and I don't think it would matter. I think Michael Jordan's, like I've said maybe before, his cultural significance, the fact that he was 6-0 in NBA Finals would seem to indicate that he's not going to be touched unless somebody does that and then takes it to another level. And we're going to be waiting a while, I think, for that. So,
Charlie, I thought Jacksonville had him there. If they would have scored a touchdown instead of a field goal to go up 20-10, they make that 24-10. I think they got him. But was there any point in this game where you didn't think Brady was going to do it?
There were a few points where I thought Jacksonville might win. I know when New England scored their first touchdown in the 4th quarter, I really thought the Patriots were going to come out on top then, just because we've seen that so many times before. And, I mean, it just goes to show that if you don't have a great quarterback, just how hard it can be to win in the playoffs. Like the Jaguars, I don't want to say they played perfectly, but they played really, really well in New England. And still, it's just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because there's a Hall of Fame quarterback who's just going to do what he needs to do. And it just shows how it's always been a quarterback's game, but it's just even more so now with the rule changes that if you don't have a guy at quarterback, you've got to be so good everywhere else and just get lucky too. And I mean, it was Jacksonville was closer than I thought they would be. So I want to give them some credit for that. But I mean, I don't know. It's just scarred being a Dolphins fan. I've seen it so many times where it's just like, oh, yep, they got them, and it's like, oh, no, they still won.
Are they the anti-Vikings?
God, since 2001, probably, yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. They can be down 4 touchdowns. They're going to come back and win. Stacking, what do you do with my quarterback here? He got every game he got better. And I mean, his wild card game was historically awful. His Pittsburgh game was fine. This game he was good. He was good. If they can get this more weeks than not, he can be a good quarterback. But again, just their play calling. I mean, you can tell that little dinks and dunks again. In New England, they were just killing New England on these simple plays. They couldn't tackle. They were getting 10, 20 yards out of the backfield on these nothing passes. Then he went down the field a couple times and made some pretty good throws. But I feel like, I mean, they're going to stick with him because he's shown improvement. But they're like if Jacksonville had a top 10 quarterback, then they wouldn't be a Super Bowl favorite because the defense.
Well, and I thought that the play calling in the fourth quarter was a little conservative and ultimately cost.
Why was that?
I just didn't think they were aggressive enough.
Why is that? Because their quarterback sucks. That's why.
But
if I could chime in, I think part of it was, I think they just wanted to run the ball and like salt the game away. And at that point,
you know you have to score again. You know you have to score again.
Right.
Even if you're ahead by,
New England knew what was coming. I mean, even though they were down 10 points, 3 points, whatever it was at that stage. I mean, it's just they knew what was coming. They were able to stop it. It was weird that the later the game got, maybe the easier it was in some ways for New England to know what defense to have.
I mean, I didn't think that Jacksonville was running all that successfully against the Patriots for the most part throughout the game. It seemed like Blake Bortles was able to find, guys, and they'd make the catches that they needed to. I just think that Jacksonville they played not to lose in the fourth quarter rather than play to win. And it didn't help that, Calais Campbell had to leave for a little bit. They lost Miles Jack there on that final drive, and Danny Amendola made a spectacular touchdown catch. I don't think you can quantify just how great. Yeah. So anyway,
they had the turnover there that they had the turnover that they didn't do shit with. That would have helped tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their first drive of the game was very
Did they
similar.
even get a first down?
No.
They got that turnover?
No.
It was like 30 seconds and they punted.
Nothing. Their first drive was very similar to the Vikings' first drive. Just bam, 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 score, touchdown. The last 2 minutes of the first half, they probably lost the game there. Bad clock management.
They had like 50 seconds and all 3 timeouts.
Well,
there
was that, and then before that, they had the ball with like 2 something left to where they could have ran one play, ran it all the way down to 2 minutes. Instead, they run a play, and they run 2 or 3 more plays before the 2-minute warning, and they punt it, and here Brady gets the ball back with like 2:07 left when they should have let that run all the way down to 2 minutes, and he goes and scores a touchdown. That was a huge mistake. They could have ran that down to 2 minutes. That was atrocious. So instead of going up, whatever the hell it was, they scored a touchdown there at the end of the first half to make 14-10 or whatever it was. So not great. With 5 points.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was just going to say, I saw on Twitter after that game was over that, like in the last, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 years, that New England, when they going into the fourth quarter are down by 10 points, okay, I see it now in the last 10 postseasons, New England is 3-4 in games where they trail by 10 points or more in the fourth quarter, and everyone else is like 0-70. And they are almost 500, and it just shows that they're just playing a different sport than everybody else. Them in Alabama, and this is what it must have been like for our parents when UCLA always wanted men's basketball, where it's just like, yep, doesn't matter, they just win.
I think this is the best dynasty there's ever been. It's the longest. The Yankees have had many. Alabama's had many. College football has had many. The NBA has had a lot. There's nothing like this.
And one of the reasons why I think it is the best dynasty is because they
so long.
constantly dispose of players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're keeping everyone. They constantly change parts. So the only constants really are Tom Brady and Bill Belichick,
That's all you need.
which are obviously the two most important ones, but they constantly have things changing around them. They'll trade Richard Seymour or Jamie Collins. I mean, they do. They constantly change things, and you have to buy into it's truly the Patriot way.
It is.
They are ruthless in a good way, where I think I heard this. I think it's an old-time baseball quote, but it works for football and salary cap too, that New England is better than anyone else at getting rid of a guy 1 year too early and then keeping him 1 year too late. And they just, never, ever are like, you know what, maybe we should keep this guy. They're just like, we don't care. You're gone.
Whatever move they make, it works. It works. Marcus, 5.5, 6 point favorite. New England is. Every Super Bowl Brady's played in is close. I think this one will be as close. I think New England wins 24-20.
24-21, just like the last time they played.
Sure,
How's that sound? I'm kind of torn, obviously.
Well, how about this?
Root for.
It's been 10 games played? The underdog has covered 9 of the 10.
Yeah, I feel like the line's going to be 6 or 7. Eagles can cover that pretty easily. The Patriots are going to win. I just feel super confident that's going to happen. They'll do enough to slow down the Eagles' offense. It won't be amazing on defense for them. I can't imagine it being a blowout. I don't know. I've always been kind of bitter with the teams that beat the teams I like, so I'm not going to root for Philadelphia.
Fuck you,
You guys
Eagles.
know how I feel about Wentz. It's just I don't want Wentz to win a ring. At least not right now.
Do you hate him more than I do,
And,
or do we have equal hatred?
I feel like we hate him about the same.
Good.
I don't know, but it's just like you just see him grinning like an idiot at the end of the game. It's like, well, you got nothing to do with it. No,
he got them in a position to be.
Well, no, these last 5 games, they look like I watched their little bit of their Monday night game against the Raiders. What a dog shit team.
I agree. But
Dallas, the way they played against Dallas, I don't know if they probably rested some of their starters. They didn't score. Dog shit team. I didn't see much of last week's game, but fuck. A touchdown and 4 field goals. What a dog shit team. And for them to go and just beat the ever-living fuck out of the Vikings was just too perfect.
I leave you with this. I live in Fargo, and fuck, if I'm going to cheer for Philadelphia and Carson Wentz and the Eagles, damn it, I'm a Patriots fan for 2 weeks now.
Good.
Damn it, Tom Brady, you better not fuck it up. Let's go, Patriots. Let's win another Super Bowl. Don't let Fargonians get any more fucking up their asses as they already are.
The other bright
Nice job,
side.
Stacking. You just guaranteed
I
the
know I
Eagles
did.
win on the money line.
What the fuck's the money line
The other-
aside? What the fuck's
the other-
mattering? I just jinxed the Patriots.
The other bright side, if the Patriots win, maybe Tom Brady will decide to retire.
No. This fucker's going for 10. He's going for 10 of them.
Well, Brady will.
Oh, yeah.
Big Belichick will quit.
Stacking's homework for next week is to find out what the fuck that is behind him.
If Belichick retired, could we have Brady be the first player coach in the NFL?
May as well be.
I mean, I don't know, but
You know
I don't know
what?
if
He
it's
can
been done before. But if anyone currently is going to do it, it'd be him.
he can be the offensive coordinator. LeBron can coach defense. How about that?
We had about 15 minutes earlier today where we thought the Jaguars were going to be playing the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
There were about 2 hours there where I thought Jacksonville was going to be in the Super Bowl. From about the first quarter until about midway through the fourth, I'm like, fuck. Jacksonville's winning this goddamn thing.
It sounds pretty good right now, and it's not going to happen. So.
And there was about, I don't know,
It means
20.
that Jaguars ornament that I have in my Christmas stash is not going to get to come out.
Get it out. Bring it out.
There were, that first drive, Vikings were rolling. There was about a good 25 minutes where I'm like, yep, this might be it. No, this was not it. This is bad.
That's enough.
Stack
See
is
you
out.
guys later.
He's a Patriots
Bye,
fan.
guys. Have a good week.
Yes. Charlie, we'll end it with you here. Your pick. I mean, I can't see Nick Foles beating Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
I mean, I hope it's entertaining because it's just more fun when it's entertaining. We haven't had a lot of blow-up Super Bowls recently. This one feels to me like close for a half. Eagles turn it over late. New England wins by 17. Some ad exec kills himself in the fourth quarter because nobody's watching his ad that they paid millions of dollars for because people aren't interested in the game anymore.
Something I always like to look forward to is the first game next year. Let me run down the Patriots' home schedule here. Of course, they play all the division games. They play the Chiefs, who they opened up this year against and lost. They play the Colts. They play Houston, Green Bay, and the Vikings. What is game one next year? Packers,
It feels
Vikings?
like it's Green Bay to me. I mean, then you get the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I mean, because obviously they're not playing Tennessee or Jacksonville, who they played in the playoffs this year, at least not at home. So, I mean, you just start going, best potential matchup. I think it's got to be Brady versus Rodgers. I mean, that's what I would do at least.
Let's say the Eagles win. They play their East teams. They also play Houston. They also play the Colts. They play Atlanta, who they beat. They play Carolina. And they also play the Vikings.
I could see either Eagles Vikings or Eagles Cowboys. Those would be my two guesses. Or Eagles Giants.
Eagles Falcons?
I mean, I could see it, but I think they would go divisional or Vikings first.
Vikings. Looking at this, as long as, the Vikings, see who the quarterback is first. Let me run down this Vikings schedule here. At home, Arizona, Buffalo, Miami, San Francisco, and New Orleans. They were 7-1 at home, 8-1 with the playoffs at home. What do you think they do there? San Francisco, New Orleans, Miami, Buffalo, Arizona. They go 6-2.
I think you could go 6-2. I think that's. I mean, it's early now, but from what we know, assuming they don't have, terrible injuries, they can keep most of their core players. I don't know whose contracts are up or anything like that.
Everybody should be back. Yeah, everybody should be back.
Yeah, I don't think 6-2 is crazy.
Road schedule
7-1 if you get some breaks.
Road schedule not good. At the Patriots, at Seattle, at Philadelphia. That's rough. At the Rams and at the Jets.
That is rough. I don't know how close we are to wrap it up. I don't know if you want to. This could be something we do later. But I thought about this a couple times and have never mentioned it on the show. But that Seattle didn't even make the playoffs last year. They're probably going to lose some dudes, and it's possible that. I don't want to say Seattle can't make the playoffs anymore, but Seattle is the one or two top dogs in the NFC. Might just kind of be done because that's how free agency in NFL kind of is now. That you lose enough guys, except if you're New England, that after a few years it's just we don't have enough of those guys anymore.
They were good for a solid 5 years. Won a Super Bowl.
Played another.
Should have won the next year. They've been competitive the last couple, but not Super Bowl favorites once the season ended. So the Vikings had a very good year. As long as the defense is as good as they were, they should be in the mix again. But with Rodgers getting hurt and Wentz getting hurt, that helped a lot. If they would have played the Falcons today, I think they would have won at home. But
I think I would agree with that.
But they couldn't.
And the other bright side, I don't know if we would say Mike Zimmer is the second best coach in the NFL.
I would say that.
Clearly Belichick is the best. But Zimmer's at least good, and when you've got a guy who appears to be good, that's better than being I don't know. We've got North Turner. Hopefully North Turner finally figures this out as a head coach or something like that.
Defense is
They've
young.
at least got one piece of the puzzle there. two if you include the defense.
Defense is young, coach is good. They got them all signed up. Offensive line did a lot better than I thought. Much better than last year. I didn't watch the second half. It was bad.
I actually didn't watch the second half either.
What it was 24-7. I didn't need to watch more. It was bad. It was disgusting. So there you go.
Real quick here, not to go deep NFL draft stuff, but would you rather have the Vikings pick a quarterback in the first round, or get one of the best offensive linemen in the first round?
All my two quarterbacks there.
Well, let's just go assuming they can find a way to trade up without getting rid of the farm.
Yeah, I would take one of those two guys. I think you can always find linemen down the road. Yeah, I want to see quarterback. Drew Brees would be nice. I don't see him leaving New Orleans. If New Orleans would have been bad this year, I could see him moving along if he wants to win one more. I think he probably has a better chance to win one more in Minnesota than New Orleans at this point, but I don't see him leaving. Kirk Cousins would be nice as well, but we will see. Very very close, but yet just got their doors blown off. So
like I said, the most somber edition of the sports
man
we've ever had before.
What did you think when they drive down there? Boom, 7-0. They get the ball back up 7-0. You're like, fuck.
Sometimes I get ahead of myself watching games like Stacken does on the show, or just in the games I do. But I remember when it was when they got the ball back ahead 7-0, and I think if I remember right, they got like a big, not like a first down or like a huge run, but like had one nice run, and I was just like, oh man, they're going to win this game by like 14 points, and we're going to be like, oh man, legitimately the Vikings might beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and then it just all went horribly wrong and got worse and worse and worse from there.
Man.
And we could have, I don't want to go too out of or too hyperbolic. I don't want to say that would have been the greatest Super Bowl matchup ever. But it would have been pretty interesting with a home Minnesota team and a really good defense. Yeah. Probably have 70% of the crowd in their favor against the greatest quarterback ever. And just, I don't know, it would have been interesting, and instead it's just going to be like, everyone's going to be, the Patriots are going to win. Duh.
I just don't see them ever winning. I just don't how I did.
Maybe they need I don't know what they need. It's weird because they're not like Cleveland. Clearly they're doing something right.
They have the most.
There's just there's that last hurdle they just can't get over.
They have the most.
2 hurdles maybe.
They have the most playoff losses of any team in the NFL.
That's rough.
It's not good. It's not good. Were you surprised at how much they didn't blame Keenum? Because that interception was just.
I was surprised.
And the fumble was
to the extent that you don't want to be like, hey, backup quarterback, you need to win the NFC title game for us and take us to the Super Bowl. That being said, though, there were still some things that are. Not everything's his fault, but you can't say none of it's his fault.
More than 5%.
I think Traxler said something about how, the offensive line didn't do a good enough job blocking, which is true and valid. And so they get a chunk of the blame for that, but you've got to give some of it to the quarterback, too. That's just, even if it shouldn't be that way, that's how it is. It's like starting pitchers losing in baseball. You always get more of the credit when you win and more of the blame when you lose. That's just how it goes.
I saw there was some, a few 4th downs they went for and didn't pick up, late. So, for whatever that's worth. Season comes to an end, so one more game left, and there we go. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up? College basketball, we got, 2 months here. 2 months of college basketball.
I'll go ahead and completely jinx it, even though they just beat Michigan, but Nebraska potentially can win the NCAA tournament, which means they're definitely going to go on a 4-5 stretch here, and just be like, nope, not happening.
And Minnesota definitely not going to the tournament. What a shit turnaround that So there you go. We'll be back in a week or so. I'm sure we'll have our usual Super Bowl edition of the Lounge. So Minneapolis Super Bowl, team from New England, team from Philadelphia. 240 Sports Lounge, Marcus, Charlie, and Stack.